For 10 straight years, the best day, the day I would look forward to the most was the draft. I look forward to the draft more than my own birthday for 10 years. So this year, I don't give a for once. And it's going to be entertaining. I know all the talk, but I'm really excited for Cade. Obviously, I think Cade's going to be a monster.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Lace Up Podcast. And we have a special guest for the first time. You are our first guest ever, actually. Brandon, tell the people what's up.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm honored to be the first guest. Thank you guys all for having me. I'm Brandon, aka Brawadis, for those who don't know, YouTuber, huge Phoenix Suns fan. And I'm excited to do this podcast, so thank you guys.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Get Like Coop back again, and I'm also here with my guy, the Flight Mike.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody?
All right,
Flight Mike here, diehard Phoenix Suns fan for a month. What?
Shut up. Mike is the biggest homer Lakers fan we know. But you know what? We got a great segment going in because Mike, if you check out the back of Brandon's room right now. Notice that from what I could see, we've got purple and gold. So what's the story there?
Yeah. Guys, before anybody comes for me or before anybody goes crazy, my brother, Faze did a prank where he painted my room Los Angeles Lakers colors. Because I'm a huge Suns fan. Lakers and Suns, they don't get along. So I came home one day from the gym and my room was painted yellow and purple. And guys, let me just tell you one thing. This was over a year ago. And the second I saw the colors on my wall, my brother was like, I'm so sorry. I promise tomorrow I'll get it repainted. It's been over a year. And now it's turned into like this petty thing where it's like, I don't want these Lakers colors, so I could change it myself. But my brother was the one who did the prank, so why would I have to paint it myself? You know what I mean? But he escaped. He moved to Los Angeles. I'm in San Diego, so he's gone. He's not going to be changing the colors of this room anytime soon. So now it's just like a little petty battle.
Do you have any plans on getting him back?
Yeah, I'm not just gonna paint his room orange and purple. I'm gonna paint his whole house orange and purple. That's what I'm gonna do to get him back.
Yeah, that'd be a banger video, honestly. Yeah, so we're definitely gonna be talking a lot of Suns in this podcast, guys. We're also gonna go into the NBA draft, NBA trade rumors, everything like that. Brandon, so first off, right away, I want to ask you. So you were a Phoenix Suns fan, diehard, right, for a long time at this point. What was it like going from a team that, has been a really just bad franchise for the past, like since the Steve Nash era, basically, a little bit of Eric Bledsoe, Goran Dragic in there. But since that era, what has it been like going from a horrible team to suddenly basically a dream season? You guys came up a little bit short, but how was that as a fan?
Dude, it was... So I've been watching since 2004, 2005, 2006. This was the best, greatest season I've ever watched. Most fun I've had watching because when we were contending with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire and Sean Marion when I was younger, we were expected to be contenders. So you knew what you were going to see going into the season. This year, though, people were expecting, 7th, 8th seed. I myself was expecting a 4 or 5 seed, and I got a shit ton of hate. You're so biased, you're blah, blah, blah. So to end up making it to the finals, which is something I didn't even expect, it's been amazing. And just, it sucks that we fell short. I've honestly been like really, really upset, really down, really sad about it for the last week. It's like you just go on about your day, you're having a good day, and then boom, just at random times, like every couple hours, you're just like, shit, we really lost in the finals. It's hard, but if you look at the season as a whole, it was a really fun season and just something that nobody expected. Not even, I'll be honest, probably not even the Suns themselves expected to make the finals this year. So
guys, we are capping off the giveaway to the first 40,000 subscribers that turn on our notifications for the Laced Up Podcast. All you have to do to enter for a chance to win a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X is subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you want to do us a favor, leave a like on the pod and let me know in the comment section down below when it's done. You'll enter for a chance to win a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X.
It was a lot of fun and just I don't know. It sucks we came up a little bit short, but it was definitely my favorite season I've ever watched as a fan.
Do you find yourself being more happy about this being the best season the Phoenix Suns have ever had, or more sad that you guys came up a little short? Is there more gratitude or a little more sadness?
I think if you ask me this in a couple weeks, my answer would be I would be more happy just how the season turned out and the fact that, we have such a good team going forward. But right now it's still so fresh, that finals loss, that I'm not really feeling anything other than just sadness and just anger and like just disbelief, because I really thought when we went up 2-0 that it was a wrap. So yeah, in the moment right now, it's just a lot of sadness, and just some people might not understand, but you guys being big sports people, you guys probably feel my pain. It's bad, bro. It's bad.
I had Derrick Rose go down with a torn ACL.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a little similar, at least.
Yeah.
I was in my college dorm for that, and we're watching. I'm watching by myself. Game 1, Sixers, comfortable lead. It's like about a 12-point lead with a few minutes left, and D Rose just goes down, and God, yeah, that was haunting. But at least you guys made the finals. Like nothing really good came of Derrick Rose's injury.
For me, it would probably be the 2007-2008 Los Angeles Lakers season, because that was like the season where we thought, hey, Kobe can't do it without Shaq. We somehow pull a trade off for Pau Gasol, giving up a bunch of role players, and we make it to the finals and face like the super team of that era, the Big Three Boston Celtics. And in game 4, we came out swinging. We took a 24-point lead over them. And then Paul Pierce, after some antics and some theatrics, the Celtics came back. We blew a 24-point lead and we lost the finals. So I guess I could kind of.
Wait, are you referring to the wheelchair game? That's that game?
Yeah.
Like when Paul Pierce pooped himself?
Whoa. He had cramps or...
He admitted... No, that's actually a very weird thing. He admitted it, and then he took it back.
Paul Pierce has been kind of...
I don't know, but I will say the difference with my sadness and yours is that the Lakers have a couple of other rings that you could look back on and enjoy, whereas the Phoenix Suns are an empty hand right now. So that's the one difference. But I understand how painful it is. But yeah, bro, that was...
Listen, you just touched upon, some sensitive material here, because we've got Mike complaining about the most trivial things. While I'm a Bulls fan, all right, I get it. Michael Jordan. All right, 98, I was 6. I was 5 actually when the finals were. So I was 5 years old. So, I really enjoyed that one. But Mike is over here like, oh, LeBron sucks. And we're like, dude, you won a championship last season, man. And you're the Lakers.
Dude,
you'll get everyone.
So it's supposed to be my fault that your front office decided, hey, greatest player of all time, but we want to rebuild after the 1998 season, no matter what. That's supposed to be my fault. That championship, by the way, makes a huge difference. If Kobe would have won that game, maybe he's tied with Michael Jordan. Maybe the all-time conversation's a little skewed. We can't really get into that because that's a huge debate in of itself. But no, that's an important one.
To be fair, the
Bulls, but the Celtics were.
To be fair, the Bulls should just be happy. The Bulls should just be happy they even got Derrick Rose. Getting Derrick Rose was nothing short of a miracle. You guys were like a playoff team a season or two ago. Before y'all got him, and somehow, what were y'all in the NBA?
No, it was literally like a 1.7% chance. Yeah, it was definitely a miracle. It was definitely a miracle by the NBA draft lottery.
Miracle.
Yeah, but I've seen so many the New York Knicks draft lottery was rigged videos. I haven't seen a single Chicago Bulls 2008 draft lottery's rigged video from you.
Nah, I probably mentioned that. I did a video is the NBA draft rigged in general? I mentioned it. I probably disagreed with it. Okay, well we got off topic. We got off topic. All right.
I wanted to ask Brandon. You said you became a Phoenix Suns fan during the 2004 season.
Yeah.
So what initially drew you to the Phoenix Suns?
So growing up, being born in San Diego, growing up in San Diego, there was no team over here, obviously. Everybody was a Lakers fan. There were no Clipper fans. I still don't think there's a Clippers fan in this world. But so I just kind of was like, dude, I love basketball, but there's no team. You know, my parents, they're from Iraq, so they weren't big into basketball. I had no family members that were like, oh, you know, follow my lead. We're Laker fans, or we're this and that. So I just kind of started watching, and who was the best team at the time. It was kind of like in the old days, we're like the Golden State Warriors of Steph, Clay, KD, were the Suns with Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, that whole era. So I was like, you know, I'm a little kid and I'm like, dude, this team is so fun to watch. You know, they play so fast and they win all these games. So I'm going to be a Suns fan. And I just, ever since then, I was 9 years old. I was 9 or 10. I was in 4th or 5th grade. And I remember I got a purple Steve Nash jersey, it was from you know, the websites that ship from like Japan. They're like so fake and they're so heavily stitched. They're like $20.
Yeah.
I got myself one of those jerseys and just, I don't know, bro, ever since then. And then that got my parents and my whole family into basketball because of how passionate I was about it. But they became Laker fans because, like I said, in San Diego, everybody's a Lakers fan. So now we just have this huge family rivalry where everybody's a Lakers fan in my family, everyone. And I'm the only Suns guy. So this past playoff series was fun.
So who would you say is your favorite Phoenix Sun of all time at this point?
So it's definitely going to end up being Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker's on track to become the best Phoenix Sun of all time. But overall, a lot of people might think Steve Nash, but I was a huge Amari Stoudemire guy. I loved Amari, bro. Amari was just, I don't know. I love Stoudemire, but Steve Nash is a very, very, very close second. Very close.
Yeah, Amari was unstoppable. All right. Well, speaking of Devin Booker, you know, we've seen the videos, we've seen, you know, your recent, you know, Twitter, Instagram posts, everything. You know, you have a relationship with Devin Booker. So I'm just curious, how did that exactly start? And, you know, like, how close are you with him? Do you know, you still talk, everything like that?
So the first time that I met Book, so when I first started my YouTube channel, like I said, I've been a Suns fan my whole life. So when I first started a YouTube channel, I was just repping Suns. And, you know, at the time, 2015, the Suns were trash. They didn't really have any fans. So I stood out as like, dude, who is this guy? Like, he has a decent amount of followers and he's repping the Suns. Like, who is this guy? So Eric Bledsoe was actually the first person to reach out to me. This is when Eric Bledsoe was on the team. Dragic had just left. Eric Bledsoe was on the team, and he reached out to me like, oh, thanks for being a fan, whatever, like, appreciate it. And I'm like, dude, no way. Like, he followed me, and I was going crazy. I was freaking out. I was like, this can't be real. This is a dream, blah, blah, blah. So then they came to San Diego during training camp. The season had just ended. They came to San Diego, and Eric Bledsoe DMs me on Twitter, and he goes, yo, we're in San Diego, like, come link up. And I was like, wait, what? Like, dude, is this a fucking joke? Like, dude, at that point, I hadn't met any of the players. I was just a huge fan, just a huge Phoenix Suns fan. And then by then, though, I skipped the whole part. By then, Book had already been following me just because, you know, Bledsoe was, and just my, fandom for the team. So then when Bledsoe told me to come through, I think Book also hit me in the DMs like, oh, here's the address. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. So I went and I pulled up, and it was a paintball spot. And I went and I met up with the whole team. Dude, I was shaking. It was this, like, I was, dude, I was sweating. I was shaking. So, I met up with, it was Book was there. Bledsoe was there. I don't even remember who else, bro, because those were the main two. Those were my favorite players at the time. So I met up with them, and then ever since then, I'm still close with Bledsoe, by the way. I'm the type of person where when someone does something for me, like I'm not gonna forget it. So he was the first person to like follow me and reach out to me. Just the other day, he hit me up. He was streaming, so I told him, I'm like, bro, I got you. I shouted out his stream on my story. Like, bro, he did so much more for me than I could ever do for him. So Bledsoe will always be my guy. But yeah, so then I just started getting closer to Book, and then it turns out that Book has a younger sister, a little sister who loves mine and my brother's videos. So then, I started, I gave her a little shout out, whatever. And then she started going crazy. So then Book, after that, he came to my house like a year later.
Yeah.
And, now fast forward to 2021, and I've been to his house a bunch of times. I've been to his birthday parties, his birthday dinners. He's been to my house. Whenever he comes to San Diego, we link up. It's actually pretty crazy. Like, now it's just normal. But before, when it was first happening, I was like, bro, this is crazy. Like, this is insane. And, whenever I go to Phoenix, it's not just Book, but I try to make time for his whole family because, like I said, his younger sister is a fan of mine. So I always try to meet up with her, his mom, his brother, his close friends. So it's they're really good people. I hate when Book gets a lot of hate because of he plays with. Book is you guys know what I mean on the court. He's always like, he likes to talk and stuff like that. So he gets I hate Book. He's such a bad person, blah, blah, blah. No, trust me, guys. Like, I know his family, his friends, and everything he comes from, they're all really, really good people. I've met a lot of people in the NBA world. Book comes from a lot of good people. So, yeah, that relationship is crazy where it started and then where it's at today.
That's sick. So I have a question. All right. So, you met Devin Booker and you met him, kind of on his come up, as he was like, rising to become an NBA All-Star. Was there anything about Devin Booker or anything about his work ethic or anything that you could tell, like, set him apart where you knew he was going to, work his ass off to become where he is today?
So I think that's the reason why Book and his crew actually rocks with me is because I was rocking with D-Book the second he got drafted. I didn't wait till he scored 70 points and started going, oh, Book is so good, whatever. Or I didn't wait till he made the All-Star team. Well, the second the Suns drafted him and he was coming off the bench in Kentucky. So a lot of people were maybe like, okay, what? Like, bench player with a lottery pick, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, no, like you said, his work ethic is insane. It's crazy. And I just knew, I don't know what set it apart, whether it was his scoring ability or just, I think it was more mentality where I was like, dude, this dude's going to be special. So I was rocking with him from the start. I'll tell you one thing. I was rocking with Book as a 13th pick more than I was with Dragon Bender at the 4th pick or Marquise Chris as an 8th pick. Yeah. So you knew something was there with Book. You knew he was going to be special. And I've always told, it gets brought up between his boys, his camp, and myself. Like, yo, you've been rocking with Book since way before this whole rise to, like you said, rise to a superstar. And I'm like, yeah, bro, it's a Suns guy. I'm a Suns fan. So you know what I mean?
I think it's also really compassionate of you to treat Eric Bledsoe the way you're treating him in present day. Because, the time that he reached out to you, if it was 2015 to 2016 or 2016 to 2017, around like Devin Booker's earlier years, that's literally the man's like absolute prime. Like, people tend to forget because he went to Milwaukee and then he went to New Orleans, but the dude was averaging like 21 points per game. Like, he was crushing it during those times.
Do you guys remember his nickname? Mini LeBron. That was Mini LeBron at the time when he reached out. That was dude. That's why I got a lot of respect for Bled. I remember the first tweet that he put out was at Brawadis needs to be an NBA analyst, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, what? And that was at the time that I was going to college to be a journalism. I wanted to write like for the Suns. So when he put that tweet out, I was like, dude, no way. Like, and then that turned into obviously like, oh, come meet up with us. We're in San Diego. And it was like, yeah, bro, it was, I've met Bledsoe and his whole family too. He has a couple of kids. And so, yeah, it's crazy. But now I've at this point, I've linked up with like Deandre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. It's actually really crazy where it's gotten to, bro. It's ridiculous.
No, I was just saying, like you have all their numbers, like you're hitting them like on a personal level, like y'all are like really cool like that, and just
either that or just through IG DMs. We all follow each other.
IG DMs.
Yeah, but I just give them. I'm not like a fanboy or yo guys blah blah blah. Like I'll just every once in a while, because I'm a busy guy too. So every once in a while I'll just hit them like yo, keep working, keep killing it, like good shit out there, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And then if I am out in Phoenix, I go there like 2 or 3 times a year. Then I'll hit them and see. If anyone wants to link, maybe make a YouTube video, or if it doesn't come with a video, then, it's not all about that all the time. So
yeah, no, that's sick. So with Deandre Ayton, have you met him in person?
Yeah,
because he's like a competitive psychopath, right? Like, for lack of a better word, like I'm pretty sure I saw a video of him losing in 2K
and
like smashing a controller.
Yeah, he's a big time gamer. Yeah, DA is actually he's really cool. He's really nice. You look at him on the court, you're like, dude, this dude's massive. He's slamming the ball down. You're like, oh, this dude's so angry, blah, blah, blah. But you meet him and he's a chill ass dude. It was actually just his birthday the other day. He just turned 23, which is crazy. He's still so young. Yeah, he's cool. They're all
just unlocked a memory for me. I like was playing 2K. So, with NBA 2K, they give YouTubers like the YouTube logo and stuff. And I was just playing, and Deandre Ayton's boy was like playing with him, and he was like, yo, come play with us. And I started playing with Deandre Ayton, and I swear like the first game went okay, but like he was like, all right, give me the ball more. Like, he was mad at me. I was like, all right, man, like, all right, like I'll get you the ball more. And like I got it to him, and he like missed a few shots, and then like I missed a few shots. I don't know. We lost the game. And I swear I just got booted. Like I played 2 games with him. Like, and I got booted. I was like, okay.
Yeah, he's very competitive gamer.
I literally forgot that happened until I even like this podcast just unlocked that memory for me.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, so switching gears here a little. Well, not too much, but all right. So with the Phoenix Suns, the future going forward, you guys still have a bunch of young pieces, but I'm curious as to 2 questions, which first you can answer them separately, but first, what do you want to do with Chris Paul going forward? And then we'll talk about the Suns' rest of their future, but what would you like to happen with Chris Paul right now?
So to keep it short and simple, I'll get into more details after I answer it short and simple. You bring him back no matter what. You have to bring him back, and he wants to be back. I see some rumors like, sorry, Flight Mike, but he's not going to the Lakers. They just don't have the cap, unless because his player option is for $45 million. It's one thing to turn down $45 million to take like $30 million, but you can't go from 45 to like 10, 11 mil that the Lakers have to offer. 9 mil, I think it is. So I don't think I think Chris Paul wants to be back. And if I'm the Suns, you bring him back, no questions asked. I don't like, some people are basing, the 2 or 3 bad games he had in the finals or the shoulder injury he had against the Lakers. And they're looking at that over the whole 85 games that he played for us this season that took the Suns from, where we were. Like, you can't take just 2 or 3 bad games in the finals and be like, oh, you know what? I don't want Chris Paul back. No, you got to bring him back. And if I was the Suns, I obviously, as I got older, you learn, you never talk about another man's money. But for the sake of this podcast, if I was the Suns, I would give him, because he wants 3 years, I would give him a huge, like, $45 to $50 million year in year 1. And then I would try to give the final 2 years like a 12 to 15 mil. So he still gets his, 80 to $90 million, but it doesn't cripple the Suns moving forward. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. Instead of giving like 30, 30, 30, I would just give him I would hope he opts into the 45 mil and then extends for like 2 more years at like 12, 13 mil a piece. That way he still gets his money and then the Suns aren't crippled in the future. But I will say, if he wants to do it his way, he does have the leverage because the Suns can't let him walk. You can't. After a season like this, you don't let a guy like that walk. So you got to bring Chris Paul back.
are you concerned about the fact that he is 36 years old at all? Like I've noticed more and more that we're kind of in an era where players in their mid 30s, if they had a good season, you think of Al Horford a couple years back with the Sixers, Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry seem to be up next. Would you feel comfortable giving him that money?
So based on the season that I watched this year, and then obviously the year with OKC last year, he hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. Even when he got hurt against the Lakers, that was a freak. Like he ran into his own teammate, you know what I mean? And kind of just pinched a nerve. And then he ended up getting COVID against the Clippers. So he didn't really get hurt. He actually played 71 out of 72 games this year. So I'm not too worried about next year or maybe the year after. It's probably just that third year that he wants, where it's kind of like at that point it's 39, and that's what I'm worried about. But to be honest with you guys, if you're asking me about next season or maybe even the season after, I'm not too worried, especially because Chris Paul he changed his whole diet, which I think that was the year he went to OKC, which clearly we see the results ever since that change. And yeah, he didn't really have any major injuries this season, so I'm a little worried down the road, but in the near future, no. I think Chris Paul hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. If anything, I'm not saying he looked better than in his prime, but he looks pretty close to that, aside from that final series that just, I guess you could pin it on Jrue Holiday's amazing defense. Or I did read somewhere that Chris Paul had some torn ligaments in his wrist, but that wasn't official, so I don't know too much about that. But yeah, I'm not too worried about giving him a lot of money in the near future.
Yeah, especially because it's really hard because, at least in my opinion, I think Chris Paul is one of the final few of what seems to be a breed of point guard that is beginning to become extinct. Like, when I was trying to think, how could the Suns, and I'm going to ask you for your opinion on this after we talk about this, but when I was thinking of how could we improve the Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul's role is beautiful. It's like he's this playmaking floor general. He doesn't necessarily need to score. He can manipulate defenses on a masterful level in a pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton. He has Devin Booker that could go out and get buckets. The light version of him, I guess the only other one that pops into my mind, and you can't even compare the two, is Ricky Rubio, I suppose. But other than that, I can't think of a pure playmaking point guard upgrade over Chris Paul, because he's the best that you could get at that point.
Yeah, and the way the Suns are set up, aside from Booker, you have guys like Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, DeAndre Ayton. Those guys aren't the type of players where you're like, put the ball in their hands, go out and get me 20. It's not going to happen. Maybe Ayton has a potential to be that guy, but all the other guys, they live with the playmaking of Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Devin Booker does playmake a lot. So that's why, you could look at Chris Paul and be like, oh, if he leaves and the Suns get blank, you could even throw in a guy like Damian Lillard. I'm not saying the Suns would get him, obviously, or anything like that, but I'm saying a play style of Damian Lillard, even though as a player, he's probably better than Chris Paul, but it's all about fit on your team. And like the type of player Chris Paul is with those role players, it fits amazing with the Suns. There's no other player out there right now, not a Lowry, even not a Lonzo Ball, that's going to come in and do everything Chris Paul did. So that's the thing. That's why you kind of have to bring him back, not just because of how good he is, but with losing Chris Paul, all the other role players, they lose a step too if he leaves. So the Suns they're built perfectly with, I think, the perfect complementary pieces next to Paul and Book. So I think, you got to keep Chris Paul and just, you got to add a backup big. I'll tell you that much. You need a backup big.
So that brings me to like a problem that I see with the Phoenix Suns currently. You guys had this, and I've said this in many podcasts, like, I think you guys checked off each and every box in terms of like what a team needs to win a championship. You have a beautiful blend of veteran experience, you have a beautiful blend of superstars and potential. You have Jay Crowder and Mikal Bridges, remarkable two-way defenders. You have DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, a fantastic pick and roll duo. And then you have Devin Booker, who could go off for 40 points in back-to-back NBA Finals games. But this year, you guys made it to the NBA Finals. I don't want to take anything away from you guys because, of course, every single year in the playoffs, things like this happen. But when you guys beat the Lakers, Anthony Davis was injured. When you guys beat the Nuggets, of course, Jamal Murray was injured. And when you guys played the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, ACL injury. Do you feel confident that this team can come back and make another run to the NBA Finals?
I do, because whenever I get hit with the injury card, what about the 72-game season where the Suns were one game out of having the best record in the whole entire NBA? A lot of people like to forget that. You know what I mean? They're taking a 4, 5, 6-game series sample size and forgetting about the whole 72 games where the Suns showed that they were beating on teams left and right. They swept Milwaukee in the regular season. They swept Utah. They swept Dallas. I think they swept Portland too. Don't get me wrong. The injuries obviously played a part. I'm not saying, it didn't matter, whatever. But, and what bothers me about the Nuggets with the Jamal Murray injury is that Jamal Murray got hurt way before. And the Nuggets were the 3 seed when he got hurt. And guess where the Nuggets ended up? 3 seed. Nobody liked to bring up the Jamal Murray injury when the Nuggets were winning games in the regular season, right? And then they go out and beat Portland in the first round. And I didn't hear Jamal Murray's name once, not once. And then the second they come and get swept by the Suns, oh, well, Jamal Murray's hurt. Jamal Murray would have blah, blah, blah. That's what I don't like about that. And then with the Lakers series with Anthony Davis being hurt, and I know Anthony Davis here and Chris Paul's here, but Chris Paul was playing on, he was averaging 8 points a game that series, 8 or 9 points a game. Then you look at what he did against the Nuggets, and that's when you really were like, shit, Chris Paul was hurt against the Lakers. Devin Booker won us that series. So there was, the Suns were hit with some injuries too with Chris Paul's shoulder and then him getting COVID. So I am confident. Will it be a tougher path than we have this season? Yeah, it will. Especially if Kawhi, well, we don't know we don't know what's up with that next year, but if the Clippers had Kawhi, obviously if the Lakers had AD, it would have been tougher. And that could happen next year. But I'm confident because of, like you said, the way the team is built and also the age of all of our players. Book being 24, Ayton just turned 23, Cam is 25, Mikhail's 24. And this was their first playoff run. You got to expect improvement. You know what I mean? There's no way that this is the cap. We all saw when the Warriors made it their first time and they lost to, who was it? Denver in the first round, I think. It was Denver, right? Before the whole super team happened and just they made it to a playoff.
Yeah, it was Denver. Before Andre Iguodala, right? Yeah,
Yeah, and they looked good, and you're like, okay, the Warriors look good, but they're still young. And then they kept building, and so I am confident it will be tougher. It'll be a tougher path than we had this season, that's for sure. Especially if you do make it to the finals, you're likely facing Brooklyn. So it will be tougher, but I do think we could get back there. I still think next season I'd say we're a 2 to 4 seed. You got to assume the Lakers will be 1. And then the Clippers without Kawhi, I'm not putting them anywhere near that 2 or 3 spot. Denver, they'll be up there at 2, 3, 4, and Utah will be up there at 2, 3, 4. The Warriors, I think, unless they make a trade, I don't know, if you guys want to talk about that later, but I'm not as high on the Warriors as
we will.
Okay. So yeah,
all right, that's good. That's good that you're not as high on them because I feel like we are high on them. But yeah, so well, one, I'm not going to pretend like I have an encyclopedic knowledge here. I just pulled it up on Basketball Reference. So the Warriors, what you guys are talking about was the 2013 Warriors where they beat the Nuggets in the first round and then they lost to the Spurs in 6 in the second round. And yeah, that was when everyone was like, oh, wow, like the Warriors really have something coming here. I think a lot of it, like you make a great point with, the Suns were the 2nd seed and they were beating these teams all year round. And then when the injuries come into play, suddenly it's like, oh, injuries. I think possibly part of the reason why, people might downplay the Suns going to next year also has to do with the Miami Heat and their bubble season, because we saw the Miami Heat go on, a kind of surprising run. Again, the Suns as a 2 seed shouldn't have been as surprising, but for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in a while, it was definitely, somewhat surprising run, especially for more, normal to casual basketball fans. And so then they see a team like the Heat that completely, fell apart the next season. And they're like, okay, well, maybe that happens to the Suns combined with Chris Paul's age. But for sure, championship experience, playoff experience, that plays such a huge role. All these guys suddenly have, they just made a playoff run. They just beat all of these teams. They're going to go into next season and be like, we already just smacked you in the playoffs. We already made the NBA finals. And now it's like, take the next step for sure.
No, I was just going to say the difference with the Suns and the Heat would be, I think, the age and how everyone is still coming into their own. Everyone is still, I don't think any of the Suns core is in their prime. I think Book is the closest, but he's still only 24. So I think that's a huge factor, and you got to assume everybody's going to get better, especially with this playoff run. And you can't teach finals experience. No matter, you can't pay to get finals experience. You can't hire a coach that'll give you finals experience. That's something you got to go through, and that's something that this team went through at this age, and I think that'll help them a lot. Like I said, I still think they're a 2, 3, 4 seed next season for sure, and I think they can still make some noise, definitely.
So you're okay with the Suns' only major move pretty much being bringing back Chris Paul? You think that's enough for them to return to at least the 4 seed?
Bring back Chris Paul and then sign a backup big, because we were playing Dario Saric at the 5, backup 5 all year when he's really a 4, and then he got hurt, so he's out all of next year. So, but you could easily get a JaVale, Dwight, Nerlens Noel. You could easily get one of those guys, but we definitely need a backup big because Ayton can't play 45 minutes a game. You know what I mean? So, but I am okay with that. I think all the other pieces are there. I don't want to, unless you can get a 4 to replace Crowder, but I don't think Crowder is a problem at all. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I like the team, how it's built. Just get a backup big and bring back Chris Paul.
So Cam Payne is a free agent next year. This year. He's a free agent right now. What are your thoughts about potentially trying to bring Cam Payne back? Or do you think you guys are going to be in the market for another backup point guard? Because he was big for you guys throughout the playoffs. That's not the Cam Payne that,
me and Brandon were on the phone right before this, and I was just ranting about how every player leaves the Bulls and suddenly becomes so much better. And I don't care. I don't know what that says about our franchise, but it's just the truth.
Yeah. So if I'm the Suns, like I was telling you guys, I'd try to bring back as much of this finals team as you could, because continuity is also something you can't teach, and that helps a lot. So, but Cam Payne, I don't know if that finals appearance might have hurt his value a little bit, but if you take that finals appearance out and you look at what he did over the regular season and the playoffs, he's going to get paid, I'd assume, 8, 9, 10 mil a year. The good thing about the Suns is they do have his bird rights, so they could go over the cap. But do they want to? You know what I mean? Because that's not my money. It's not up to me. Does the owner want to pay? A backup point guard is, I think you could find like a DJ Augustine out there, players like that. But I would want Cameron Payne back as long as the price is right. You never know. Maybe he'll give a little bit of a discount because the Suns were the only team to take a chance on him when he was out the league, and they brought him back in. So you never know if he has that type of, loyalty, if you know what I mean. But then again, money's money and business is business. So I don't know. But if I'm the Suns, I would for sure try to bring him back, because not only the whole, continuity and just the chemistry of playing with each other, but he's actually a really good backup point guard. Surprisingly, you would never think you would say that about Cam Payne a year ago, but he's a really good backup point guard. He gave us great minutes when Chris Paul was on the bench every single game this season.
It's really funny what a contract year does to a player, isn't it? Because if you look at Cam Payne's statistics, up until before he came to Phoenix, he was a negative player, at least during his time in Chicago in VORP. And just BPM, I see his time in Chicago was negative 3.8. And then you look at him when he's at Phoenix, 1.5, and then this past year 2.6, and he's one of the more productive players that could be had in free agency. So it should be interesting to see what his value is going to be. Maybe it's the Chris Paul effect, possibly. I don't know.
Well, I would say with the contract year thing, Campaign's like been on a contract year for the last like 3 seasons. Like he's consistently been on contracts where if he doesn't perform, he's not going to get paid. And so while I do agree with like a contract year could, be a little bit like scary where it's like, oh, is this guy just, really working his ass off right now to get that contract? Like, I think Cameron Payne made some actual serious improvements to his game. Because again, like the last 2 or 3 years, he was technically on a contract year. He was on the Bulls. He got waived by the Bulls. 10-day contract with the Cavs. Signed as a free agent with the Raptors. Like he was all over the place. So, I don't think the contract year thing really comes into play with that. I think the man, that was one of the most surprising improvements I've ever seen probably as a basketball fan. Cameron Payne becoming a quality role player.
So you talked about backup center. You guys have somebody on the roster that I actually wanted the Pelicans to draft this past year, Jalen Smith. This guy,
I was just gonna say if he develops, because as a Suns fan, we didn't see anything this season, and it wasn't too much his fault. He got drafted to a team that made the finals. So how much of a rookie are they gonna actually use? You know what I mean? So honestly, we can't speak too much on that because we didn't see enough. He did have some injuries and he got COVID at some point. Yeah, but he's a very versatile big. He could shoot the 3, he could defend, he could obviously run the floor. If he does develop, because obviously the Suns are going for the finals again next season. So if he develops quickly enough to where he could play 16 to 18 minutes a game on a championship contending team, then of course you already have someone in-house that you don't even have to sign anybody. But assuming that, he's still a little young, and this season, I wish he got some more experience, but next season is pretty much like a rookie year if you go based on how many games he's played. I just don't know if you could give those minutes to a team trying to win the title. But I am kind of high on Jalen Smith because of what he could do. We just haven't seen enough. You know what I mean? So, and I think obviously if you end up signing a JaVale or Dwight and Jalen Smith ends up surprising, then you just move JaVale and Dwight either at the deadline or you just push them back to the 3rd string. They're old at this point anyway, so I don't think they would mind too much. So, yeah, but you definitely can't go into next season only banking on Jalen Smith because that was a huge problem of ours all season was backup big. And I'm kind of surprised we didn't make a deal at the deadline. Denver got JaVale for nothing, and they didn't play him. They got him for like a second-round pick, and they didn't play him. I didn't understand that.
And they're not playing my boy Bull. They're doing him dirty, man.
Bull is the king of YouTube titles, or he was at one point. It's like Bull, you just drop him in a YouTube title and it'd be like, all right, guaranteed 300,000 to 500,000 views. But other than that, he hasn't really done much. It'd be cool to see Jalen Smith. I hope he plays in the summer league.
Yeah, he should.
I think that'd be great for his development. I think my boy Patrick Williams, with the Bulls' number 4 pick, future Kawhi Leonard.
Of the summer league.
Yeah.
Kawhi of the summer league. Yeah.
Dude, honestly, actually the summer league, I put zero value in the summer league, especially with the Bulls, ever since Denzel Valentine was summer league MVP and has proceeded to be the worst player in NBA league history the last.
Well, that might be on the Bulls. Like he might have came in pretty nice, and the Bulls might have ruined him, bro. Like I don't know, like.
Dude, like we're watching Cameron Payne. All right, we're watching Bobby Portis crush it on the Bucks. We watch Daniel Gafford go to the Wizards immediately. Just is awesome. We watch Wendell Carter. Yeah, just go Magic. Like, dude, the Bulls have Jimmy Butler, Miami Heat. Like, it's just, it's all over.
Key,
honestly, guys, I think players should try to get traded to the Bulls just for 1 year, and then they'll become an all-star.
Yo, just imagine Zach LaVine on another team, bro. Imagine.
Dude, let's not imagine Zach LaVine on another team.
Like the Lakers.
Dude, if Zach LaVine is not signed to a contract extension like mid-season or like before the deadline, oh my God, I'm going to be sweating all year. God, the jersey edits. I don't want to deal with it.
Oh my God, I'm already coming up with these beautiful, like, Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine, Laker jersey swaps.
Dude, let's get, you know what,
like...
if Zach goes anywhere, I hope he goes to Dallas. And smacks and smacks the Lakers for 8 years. All right, so well, speaking of NBA rumors and anything, you know, with Kawhi, with Dame, with all these guys, Ben Simmons out there right now, is there any NBA rumor that you're, you know, specifically drawn to or think's gonna happen or anything like that?
So I personally don't think Dame gets traded. Like I would bet my life savings that he doesn't get traded this summer. I think he gives Portland one more year, and I think Portland's going to try to make a trade for just any, like, maybe they don't have the assets to get like a superstar, but I think they could put something together where they could get like a B-level star just to try to help Dame. Do I think it's going to work? No, because Portland doesn't play any fucking defense whatsoever. So I don't think it'll work. And then I think next year Dame will get traded. But for all the rumors this year, I don't think Dame leaves this year. I think he gives them one more chance, one more year. Brad Beal, Zach LaVine. I also think Zach LaVine starts the season on the Bulls. I don't know what happens midseason, but I don't know.
We're committed. We don't even have our 2023 first round pick.
Yeah.
We are committed to winning.
Especially after the Vucevic trade. Then I think
LaVine on the score.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it's the best idea, but it is what it is. So there's that. Aside from that, like the Brad Beal, Ben Simmons. I don't know, because I read a report, I don't know if you guys saw it just the other day, that said like GMs expect a shit ton of trades this summer. I don't know if they're talking like maybe like I don't know, because maybe Brad Beal, I guess, especially if Westbrook gets traded, then okay, yeah. And then Ben Simmons is just like, dude, what the hell is his value? Because earlier in the year, it was like they were hesitant to even give him up for James Harden. But then now, after the playoff run, it's like you would fucking trade him for like this water bottle right here. So like, what is his value?
They're trying. They're trying to get a huge package for him right now. But the thing with Ben Simmons that's really concerning to me is, did you guys see the report that the Sixers cannot get in contact with him? That they literally cannot get in contact with Ben Simmons. Like, where is he? What's he doing?
It's even like, it's really funny that Brandon, you mentioned what's Ben Simmons' value, because we just got a report about in less than an hour ago, coming from Kevin O'Connor, NBA, that the Philadelphia 76ers wanted 4 first-round draft picks and 3 pick swaps and a young player from the San Antonio Spurs in exchange for Ben Simmons. So... yeah.
Whoa, shit.
Yo, you know what? They're trying though. That's, you know what? That's the thing. All right, they're not on. Like, there's no. Like, they could, if they want to, they could, you know, just run it back. They have Ben Simmons locked into a contract, and if nothing works out, you know, they still had the Malcolm Brogdon trade that they declined as like a baseline. So now they're like out there. And they're just throwing out, like, you know, flyers to everyone, seeing like, oh, okay, can we get like, you know, a jackpot offer for Ben Simmons? Which I don't hate on that at all. Like, you know, do you? It's kind of weird how open this is, though, is it not? Like, I feel like these kind of trade scenarios probably go on behind the scenes a ton, like, you know, but the Sixers like news is just all over the place.
No, I mean, I guess. Go ahead, Mike.
It's just so funny because whenever this type of stuff happens, it's pretty much a team coming out and openly saying, yeah, we don't mess with you anymore. We want to move on from you.
I don't blame him for not answering.
Yeah, it's kind of consistent with the ghosting stuff. And like yesterday, for example, there's this report where where the Sixers approached the Raptors and said, okay, give us Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, the 4th overall pick, and OG Anunoby for Ben Simmons. And of course, the Raptors said, go screw yourself. We don't want to do that. Yeah. So
all that N number 4. I mean, dude, you know, I was talking about this with my friend the other day. Like, none of this might have happened if the Sixers had just traded for Kyle Lowry at the deadline. Like, if they were willing to give up Thibault and Maxey, Like, what? Maybe we see the Sixers in the NBA Finals, and maybe we see the Sixers win the NBA Finals. But here we are now.
Yeah. No, I think maybe a trade that could make sense for Ben Simmons if Philly stops like trying to completely rip a team off is maybe like Ben Simmons for CJ McCollum, and then you see if Dame works out with Ben Simmons, and then you see if Philly could win with more shooting, something like that. But obviously, based on what Philly's asking for, then I'm guessing they would want way more than McCollum. But yeah, I don't know what his value is. So I personally don't see a lot of trades happening this summer. The Warriors probably make a move because they don't want to go into next season with Wiseman and two more rookies. I could see the Warriors making a move for sure. But shit, it's like who's available that a team is really ready to let go of. I could see Brad Beal, yeah. Maybe Siakam if the Raptors don't bring back Lowry. But then again, why did they not trade him at the deadline? You know what I mean? So I don't know what the Raptors are doing. I really don't. I don't know if they're going to try to bring him back or if they're letting him go and then maybe trading Siakam. I don't know.
Honestly, I was just going to say, honestly, I'm not sure if the Raptors bring Lowry back because apparently Lowry's market is shaping up something filthy. Like, this guy is probably going to get a max contract. I saw a report the other day that the Pelicans are planning to go all in on Kyle Lowry, and that's part of the reason they cleared all that cap with the Jonas Valanciunas trade. Yeah, so it's like if the Pelicans are like pushing all their chips in on Lowry, and that's like the baseline, like how nasty is this Kyle Lowry situation going to get?
Yeah. Wait, what do you think about that, Coop? As a Pelicans fan, what do you think about Lowry? Also, as a Pelicans fan that saw the team mortgage its future a little bit for Anthony Davis, and that not work out too well.
Well, yeah, what we did for AD was extreme. Honestly, the AD situation did work out. Boogie ruptured his Achilles, so I'm not going to call.
I love that team. I did love that.
I thought they could have made noise, man. I don't know if they would have beat the Warriors, but they would have been competitive. Now with Kyle Lowry, apparently we want Kyle Lowry to have a Chris Paul impact. Brandon might get mad at me for this one, but if we're going all in on a player, let's go all in on Chris Paul, man. Bring him back home.
Hey, I will say, Willie Green. Hey, Willie Green.
It's like it didn't work with the Suns. Let's try.
Nah, man. Willie Green and Chris Paul are actually really, really close.
Oh yeah,
they are.
Yeah, that's facts. I forgot about that. Yeah. I forgot.
I don't know if they're as close as Coach Monty and Chris Paul, but Willie Green has Willie Green and Chris Paul have a really good relationship. They do.
So I actually have a question for you because I don't know a lot about Willie Green. I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about Willie Green, even though I kind of have in the past. What are your thoughts on Willie Green as a coach?
He's good, and all the players loved him. And a lot of times, just from what I saw, obviously, but a lot of times Willie Green was the one, I don't want to say talking over Monty Williams, but I'd say, dude, Willie Green is actually kind of a big loss for the Suns. I saw Willie Green do just as much as Monty Williams, bro. He's actually a good coach. And like, for example, once the Pelicans posted, these are just smaller things, but it could mean like much in the bigger picture. But when Willie Green, the Pelicans posted, new head coach, it got reposted by Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. Like all the players loved him. And I follow a couple Suns guys who aren't like NBA guys like Kevin O'Connor or obviously like Woj, but they're strictly just Suns guys. And they were pretty upset to see Willie Green leave. But, obviously if your team made the finals, you're a lead assistant, you're most likely going to get a job offer from somewhere, but you're going to like him, bro. Trust me.
So with Willie, was like he in charge of the offense or the defense, or what do you think like his specialty really is as a head coach?
He was a lot defense, and that's what the Pelicans need.
Defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need defense.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. So, he'll be good for you guys, bro. Maybe you guys could get Chris Paul when he has 1 year left as a retirement back home.
Yeah.
Like 40 mil.
Get that Steve. Get that Steve Nash treatment, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Nah, it's good. You just made Coop so happy.
Yeah,
he's so happy
he entertained it. So I mean, I can't be mad at that.
He's a good coach, and I love Zion. I love Zion, bro. He's I mean, we don't need to explain it, but dude, Zion is a fucking monster. I think, dude, him and Valanciunas on the boards is gonna be like actually crazy.
No, seriously.
Yeah, but they do need some shooting though.
I like the fit of Val next to Zion.
I don't like the fit unless they get a bunch of shooters. Because Valanciunas is not stretching the floor. Ingram he'll stretch it. Obviously, great in the mid range. His 3-point shooting is, he could get some respect stretching the floor, but they're gonna need that 1 guard and 2 guard to be able to really shoot the 3 for sure. Because bro, if you give Zion an open lane, oh my god, dude, instead of Valanciunas, they should have tried to get Miles Turner if he really was available. Someone who could stretch the floor and then play defense next to Zion, bro. I think that would be the best. But if they could get a good shooting 1 and 2 guard, then it shouldn't be a problem.
So how do you feel about Lonzo Ball?
Dude, he improved last year a lot. He improved. I don't think the Pelicans bring him back, especially like you were saying. I saw they were going after Lowry and freeing up all that space. I mean, okay, if Lowry does sign with somebody else, the fact that they did clear up all that space gives them the chance to match for Lonzo Ball because he's going to get paid. It might be the Knicks. It might be the Bulls, Mike.
Might be my boy, dude. If we get Lonzo Ball, I'm going all in immediately. Just getting his jersey and just committing to a 7-time All-Star, future Hall of Famer Lonzo Ball.
Talk about down
Chicago
bad.
Bulls, huge run. All right. I mean, he's gonna tap into his Steph Curry with a 40-inch vertical.
Do the Bulls even have cap space? Do the Bulls have cap?
Yeah, we.
Oh,
yeah,
y'all do?
Cap.
We
do.
Yo, everybody has cap. What the heck?
No, we're gonna make a serious offer to someone.
How much do you guys have?
I'm checking right now, but we have enough to offer Lonzo for sure. And if we need to, we could trade Satoransky. Which I was looking at, we might trade him anyway for a 1st-round pick, which I would like. I always like, trading potential guys like that for something in the 1st round. Also, just as a fan, I like to have a 1st-round pick that I could be hopeful for in the summer league and stuff. And
this is a great draft. This is a great draft.
If Cameron Payne dips out, I would not mind Satoransky on the Suns. That's a solid backup point.
Yeah, a lot of guys he's a very good veteran. Also, so's Thaddeus Young, which I think we'd be able to swing, a late 1st-round pick for, but I hope we don't give him up because he's really good. Like, we need him to win games. If we got a guy like Lonzo, then, he's going to man the point guard spot.
Yeah, you guys could probably trade Kobe for a pick, too, if it really came down to it, if you guys were trying to go all in on Zoe.
I don't know what we're doing with Kobe, bro. Again, like I said, we had Brandon, we had this whole argument, and I was getting ripped because I was like, Kobe White is going to be our 6th man when we play point guard because Zach and Kobe don't play well together. It's just that simple. Now, maybe do they develop? Possibly. But if we sign a guy like Lonzo, then you're not signing Lonzo to sit on the bench. So then you're moving Kobe to the 6th man.
Yeah, Kobe White definitely had a more promising rookie year than he did 2nd year. But I definitely don't think you get rid of him because he's shown, especially his fucking shooting ability. Actually 6 man might be his best role. Just come off the bench like a microwave scorer, give you like 16, 17, 18 points, kind of like a Lou Will. I could see that. I could see him coming off like
he got 15 a game this year.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when Zach was out, he stepped in and he played really well. He averaged like over 20 around, I think. And, but him and Zach, they're just both those score first kind of guys, So it just doesn't work. A guy like Lonzo who's willing to, he's not even willing to, like, he wants to get everyone involved. He's a playmaker at heart. Like, that is the kind of guy that I think the Bulls would, I think it'd be a great fit. Other than that, random Chicago Bulls talk, thanks guys. We never talk about Chicago Bulls.
LaVine is a similar type of player to Devin Booker. And if you look at what the Suns did with obviously Chris Paul next to Devin Booker, I think that could kind of like foreshadow the Bulls should go after more of a playmaking point guard as opposed to, like a Kobe White starting at point. So if you want to look at an example.
Yeah, like exactly. Like new title, actually. Lonzo Ball, the 6'5" Chris Paul.
New title. Ricky Rubio to the Bulls.
Hey! I like Rubio. Chill. I love Ricky Rubio.
He was so bad this year,
dude. I don't like what Minnesota was bringing him off the bench. No,
really bad year.
You know, at one point I hated the T-Wolves so much this season because of how they were using Rubio. I was like, dude, he's not that bad.
Honestly, like, if the Los Angeles Lakers were to trade for Ricky Rubio, I'd be ecstatic. I honestly was so disappointed. I'm like the only person on this podcast.
He makes 17.8 mil.
But it's one more year, right?
Wow.
It's only one more year, though, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the Lakers, that means the Lakers are going. That's their guy. Like, they can't afford too many guys.
Schroeder sign and trade, baby.
The Suns gave him that contract. It was a 3-year.
I don't know if you want Ricky Rubio at 17.8.
No, I agree.
I think you're going for DeMar or someone.
No, yeah, of course. Which we should definitely discuss, like, some obligatory Lakers talk eventually. But I would go on record, and I'll keep saying this, to say that I was so disappointed by the Minnesota Timberwolves season this year. Like, of course, I will give them leeway because I can't imagine the agonizing pain that Karl Anthony Towns, and I hope none of us ever will have to imagine the agonizing pain that Karl Anthony Towns had to go through this past year with losing his mom to COVID, getting COVID himself. Obviously, there was injuries, but I personally thought that was a core that was going to succeed. D'Angelo Russell, the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, Anthony Edwards, a volume scorer. You have Karl Anthony Towns. You have Ricky Rubio as a playmaker. Josh Okogie showed me something here and there. Very disappointed that they performed the way they did. I'll always go on tangents about it.
They sacrificed themselves, man. They sacrificed themselves so that the Warriors can bring us more entertainment next year by trading their pick away. You know, that's what their season was about. They're just all about the fans, man.
Losing that pick is just, I can't imagine.
I can imagine.
In this draft. Oh yeah, you can.
I can literally imagine.
That's tough. That's tough.
Nuts. It's crazy because I don't think a lot of people realize how well the Golden State Warriors just like finessed that entire situation. D'Angelo Russell initially, when he was going to become a free agent, was rumored to go to the Timberwolves. And then the Golden State Warriors acquired him in a sign and trade when Kevin Durant went to Brooklyn. And then they gave D'Angelo Russell this gigantic contract and then traded him to where he was going to go anyways, get back Wiggins and a lottery pick in return. It was just beautiful. Beautiful asset management by Bob Myers. But
for sure.
Horrible.
I mean, yeah, they're next level. Would you guys say that Andrew Wiggins is currently a plus or a negative asset?
Okay.
Negative.
Okay, hold up. If you asked me this like 8 months ago, if you asked me this a year ago, negative, especially with that contract. Now I think he's still negative, but he's trending a little upwards. But a year ago, with that money and his play style, it was worse than negative, if there's worse than that. But now I think he didn't have a bad season. So I think still because of the money he makes, it's still a negative asset, but it'll be a lot easier to convince a team.
It's more manageable.
Yeah, he's more manageable.
I pretty much agree with what you just said.
Right?
Yeah. Also his defense, his defense really improved in his 1 year in Golden State right now, and maybe that's credit to coaching as well as Draymond Green effect. I'm sure Draymond took him under his wing. Draymond seems to do that with a lot of young players. So the thing is though, it's Andrew Wiggins, so I would be concerned wherever he ends up if we see a regression. I wonder if he keeps going forward and continuing as a player, because he is young. He's 25, 26 right now. So he's 26 right now. So I wonder if he continues to get better, or if it's like, oh, you just traded for Andrew Wiggins and he's back to Minnesota Timberwolves Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, I really want to see what the Warriors do with their picks. I wonder if they use any of those picks to try to offload Andrew Wiggins to become competitive in free agency. The Warriors have a lot of versatility with what they're able to do right now. And again, I am going to reiterate this until the death of me, bro. This draft is so deep. There's a legit shot that the Golden State Warriors can get a star at 7 or 14 or package those picks and move up and get like just another impact player, even though I don't think they do it.
I know you love Book Night, Coop. So that would be a potential guy for the Warriors to grab at 7 if, he's moved up the draft boards I've been seeing.
So there's another guy that I think you would absolutely love. His name is Chris Duarte, 6'6" guy, does everything on the basketball floor. He scores the basketball. He plays with the swagger and confidence. He's a lockdown defender. He's normally the person that's playing the hardest on the floor. Yeah, he's a guy that could be available with either of those Warriors picks. Again, just so much talent.
He's 23.
So, yeah.
There's no way. There's just no way the Warriors draft players with these picks tomorrow. Like, how could they? It just doesn't fit with their timeline.
They might keep 14. I'm like, from what I've been seeing, I think they're trying to package Wiseman, Wiggins, and 7. But if they can't, give up 14.
I'm not going to lie. I think a lot of NBA teams know that this is like that draft that you want to be in. And I think that's why the Pelicans were able to offload Bledsoe and Steven Adams in one deal and get Val back, even though they moved down. I just think that pick was that valuable to the Memphis Grizzlies because you move up 7 spots in this draft. Again, that could be the difference between like a star and a glorified like role player or something,
Yeah, well, with that being the case, then, you have the perfect opportunity if you're a team, if you're the Wizards, if you're the Raptors, if you're the Blazers, if you're any of these teams, you have the perfect opportunity to, jumpstart a rebuild with James Wiseman, 7th and 14th overall picks right here. Like, looking at the 7th pick, what do you think? Yeah, we've got Book Night, and then we've got a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, who... he was a projected top 5 pick going into last year, after, and then he played in the G League, and, he had some concerns. People are like, mostly with his decision making and his basketball IQ, but that's a guy that possibly at 7 or 8 develops, he's a boom or bust kind of guy. I think, maybe he has a normal role player career, but yeah, Kuminga if you get him at 7 or 8, that's a great pick. And so I'm interested to see with the draft tomorrow, like, is a team just going to take these Warriors picks and James Wiseman, who I wish the Warriors took LaMelo, man, because that would have just gave them, like, they could have kept LaMelo if they wanted to, or if they wanted to, trade for a literal star, it'd be so much easier.
Brandon, I know you're a Suns fan, so you may not be as tapped in on the draft, but are you tapped in on the draft? Like, do you know any of like the top prospects? Do you have any thoughts?
For 10 years, for 10 straight years, the day I would look forward to the most was the draft. I look forward to the draft more than my own birthday for 10 years. So this year, I don't give a shit for once. I'm still going to be watching, and it's going to be entertaining. I know all the talk, but I'm really excited for Cade. Obviously, I think Cade's going to be a monster. I know all the top guys: Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Kuminga, like you guys were saying. But for once, I'm not like, dude, I used to like stay up day and night for weeks and weeks and weeks researching all these prospects. The Suns got to do this. The Suns got to do that. Like, let's say the Suns had like the 4th pick, I'd be dying at the 2 and 3 pick. Please don't take this guy. Please don't take this guy. So tomorrow, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna kick my feet up, and I'm just gonna watch it as a normal fan, just hoping to see some trades and shit like that. I haven't really looked at who the Suns could get at 29. To be honest, I don't think the 29 pick is gonna play much for us next season anyway. So I'll look forward to watching him in the summer league. But yeah, bro, for once, I haven't dedicated years of stress off my life looking forward to the draft.
I actually have grown to like hate the fucking draft. Like I like it. I like looking at the prospects and shit, but the draft pisses me off at this point. Like, I tell myself we're not gonna be back here, and then like mid-season, it's like, okay, who's the top prospects for this year? Like, it
does suck because also you just have to trust your front office, like, to know what they're doing, and it's like there's like a chance that they just don't. Like, there's a chance that they get the worst player. Like,
there's a legit chance, bro. And honestly, like, I'm not going to lie. I kind of wish we didn't get Zion Williamson, as dumb as that sounds, because David Griffin doesn't deserve him. He's a bad VP. Like, Zion Williamson is like a Band-Aid over like a massive leak that is David Griffin. Like, he's so lucky. And he got all those picks with the Cavs too. I don't know if you remember when the Cavs got Bennett and they picked first a few times. Like, David Griffin was like the GM.
Yeah,
So,
no, we just made a video over here on Anthony Bennett, and like,
did you get David Griffin's quote?
He literally was like Anthony. No, it's a funny quote. It's like Anthony Bennett rolled out of bed every single day of his life, bigger and better than everyone, and then as soon as things got hard, he quit.
What a bitch! I don't like that guy, bro. I don't like David Griffin at all. But
yeah, oh my god, Anthony Bennett. Yo, Anthony Bennett's crazy. How bad he's like. I would like, because I dug deep into the worst number one picks of all time, and so Anthony Bennett's undoubtedly the worst number one pick, other than two potential guys, and one is 1972 was LaRue Martin, who also played in 4 seasons only, but played more games, averaged like 0.4 more points, shot a little better from the field, so a little better. But what the worst guy was in the 1952 draft, Mark Workman. He played 2 seasons in the league, okay? But for some reason in the 1952 draft, like, out of the top 10 picks, 4 of the top 10 picks played 1 season, and 3 of them played 0 seasons in the NBA.
Damn.
I don't know what happened in the 1952 draft. I kind of want to like look more into it, because for some reason in the 1952 draft, no one played. The number 1 pick plays 2 seasons. The number 2 pick played like 5. And then the number 3, like 5, 7, and 9 picks played 1 season. And like 4, 6, and 8 played 0.
Yeah. So I used to be one of those guys that was like, that kind of tooted their own horn a lot with the draft and, making the right picks and choosing what prospects are going to be good. But, as I got older, like the draft is just a crapshoot. Like, you don't know. You can't project work. Well, to an extent, you can project work ethic and
hard
to
project work ethic as soon as someone starts getting paid.
Yeah.
And is in the lifestyle, I like the shirt change, Mike. So, all right. So my question, with all of these Suns tragedies that you've endured, Alex Len, Marquise Chris, these kind of guys, who was the one guy that you believed in the most that let you down? Was there one guy that you were like, this guy's it, and then it just didn't work out?
Yeah. So, okay, the Alex Len pick, that draft was just so like for example, Anthony Bennett getting drafted number 1. No one even knew that was going to happen till like the day of. If that. So that draft.
No, until it happened. Yeah. Anthony Bennett was quoted as saying, "I'm just as surprised as everyone else."
Right. And then there was like Cody Zeller, your boy Mike, Otto Porter in that top 5. There was that. So that draft was whatever. I didn't care too much.
Josh Jackson, I was super high on, because at that point we had already drafted Book. So it was like, dude, who better to put next to Book than a Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler type of guy? You know what I mean? Like a insane motor, great defender, and whatever. So I was high on him, but the one guy that the one guy that I just hate myself over is Dragon Bender, bro. It was right after Porzingis was drafted, so I was like, dude, hell yeah, bro. And then we got Marquise Chris in that same draft. 2 top 8 picks. I don't think any franchise in the history of the league has ever missed on 2 top 8 picks that bad.
Minnesota Timberwolves. For Steph, they didn't take Steph.
Yeah, that's true. When they took, who was it? Did they take?
They took Rubio and Johnny Flynn, and then they took Ty Lawson at 23 or something like that,
and traded him. They took 4 point guards in the first round, and then they traded like 2 of them. I remember.
To be fair, Johnny Flynn was supposed to be a dog.
Johnny Flynn, Johnny Flynn
next.
gets like honestly, he got a career-ending injury that no one ever talks about. But yeah, sorry.
Awesome
All right, so
Dragon
Bender, yeah.
Yeah, bro, Dragon Bender, I was so high on, and it just like, dude, that was bad, and then Chris was bad, and Josh Jackson was bad, and dude, that was, I mean, okay, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I will say one thing. So when the Suns got the number 4 pick in that Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz, Josh Jackson draft, I was like, shit, Josh Jackson's gonna go 3. I was like, damn it, like, what, we're gonna end up with Tatum, and this is where I'm not afraid to take some heat myself. I was like, dude, we already have TJ Warren. Why do we need Tatum? You know what I mean? Coming out of college, Tatum was a scorer. And what else? He was not a good defender. You know what I mean? So I was like, no. And then when the reports came out that the Suns did some shady shit, so I guess they deserve what they got with Josh Jackson. But they had Josh Jackson schedule a workout with Boston, and then when Danny Ainge was in midair on his flight to go watch Josh Jackson work out, the Suns had Josh Jackson cancel that workout just to leave a sour taste in Boston's mouth and be like, I don't want to play for you guys, which led to them taking Tatum and Josh Jackson falling, thankfully, to the Suns. And at that point, I was like, yes. There's a video on my YouTube channel of me going crazy that the Suns got Jackson at 4. And I was like, when the Celtics were on the clock at 3, I was like, please take Tatum. Please take Tatum. Please take Tatum. So you guys could roast me in the comment section, whatever you guys want to do with that.
But all been there. We have all been there. That's funny. That might be the worst one though, because Josh Jackson, like you just said, is sandwiched between Jason Tatum and De'Aaron Fox. Like if you look back at the 2016 draft, like after Bender was Chris Dunn, and then Buddy and Jamal. But then after Marquise Chris is there Jacob Poeltl, Thon Maker. And then Sabonis. Yeah.
You traded him.
Oh, God.
It's funny because I remember after those picks were made in those consecutive years, I saw at least on Twitter, I saw a little bit of a clamoring by Suns fans like, yo, we need a freaking point guard, and De'Aaron Fox would have been just so electric to watch with Devin Booker. But at the same time, I remember the 2017 NBA draft being one of the most, I think probably the most overhyped NBA draft of the past decade. Markelle Fultz was supposed to be this Cade Cunningham at the point guard. Yeah, he could do anything. He could play off the ball. He could catch and shoot. He could do anything you want. He has tremendous defensive potential. Lonzo Ball, was Lonzo Ball. They were hype. I don't think I've seen a...
Yeah, Jason Kidd. Lonzo Ball was Jason Kidd.
Yeah, he was like Jason Kidd with the hype of LeBron James, apparently. Yeah. And
Magic didn't do him any favors by being don't break all my records, man.
Yeah.
God.
Dude, it was really disappointing because I remember, I think earlier, one of our very first podcast episodes, there was this report that came out where, the Lakers, apparently a Lakers insider came out and said that the only reason the Lakers picked Lonzo Ball was because it made a good story. And I'm like, what? That's how we're making decisions at that point? It was, I understand the frustration
Fox
with the draft.
Freaking cooked him. In their last game they played in college too.
In college,
which made it a little worse.
Lonzo was ducking him in the summer league.
Yeah, and the NBA and the NBA.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Fox has had his number, honestly. Until the Chicago Bulls. Until the Bulls, boom, the resurgence of Lonzo.
Delusional.
Yeah, but that draft,
Chicago Bulls fans.
Lowry, dude, there was look at those guys. Looking down at even Jonathan Isaac got so much hype. It was oh, this guy's a 6'10".
Well, he's been really hurt.
He's been really hurt.
But
I still believe in him.
Player.
But Dennis Smith Jr., do you remember Dennis Smith Jr. was being hyped as this potential Russell Westbrook steal? And Malik Monk was supposed to be just a complete bucket. I think he actually had a pretty good season this year.
Yeah, he's in a bad situation.
I'm curious what Malik Monk does with the rest of his career. But for sure, like they have underperformed. That entire draft class has underperformed going into right now. We'll see.
I think that 2018 draft could go down as one of the best in history, bro. The Luka, Ayton, MPJ, Gilgeous-Alexander, Jaren Jackson Jr. Dude, that draft is good. Trae Young, that draft is Michael Porter. Yeah, bro, that draft is Mikal Bridges too. That draft is really good. That's a really, really good draft.
Yeah, it's so going into that draft, I wanted to ask you, in 2018, were you like, I want DeAndre Ayton, I want him, or were you more gearing towards Luka or Trae?
So it wasn't Trae. Once the Suns got the number 1 pick, I was getting so much heat from Suns fans because obviously DA is an Arizona guy. He went to college there, so everybody, once we got the number 1, was like, DeAndre Ayton. I was more so like, yeah, and thank God I have tweets up of this so that no one thinks I'm lying. But I was like, yeah, DA is good too. Luka is good too. I'm fine with either. Especially with, I think in 2018, the league was going more positionless. So all the Suns fans, Arizona's, aside from like the Arizona State ASU campus, it is an older crowd there. So it's like, we need a center. We need a 7-foot rim protector. But I was like, I don't know, Luka at 6'8", you don't need a traditional point guard. You could play Luka and Book, you know what I mean? So I was more so like, whoever we took, I was going to be happy. Don't get me started. Listen, guys, before DeAndre Ayton took this sleep this season, I couldn't go to sleep. Dude, I would text my boys at like 2 a.m. like, guys, Luka and Booker. Luka and D-Book. Yeah. No, I was more split. I was just happy we got the number 1 pick for the first time in franchise history, which is crazy for how bad we've been, and we never ended up getting the number 1 pick. It was crazy. So once we got the number 1 pick, I was like, you know what, dude, this draft is good. I'm not going to argue over prospects. If we take Luka, I'd be ecstatic. If we took Ayton, I'd be ecstatic. I didn't care, but I knew in the back of my head, just business-wise, there was no way the Suns were going to pass on Ayton. No, especially it being just a year or two after we drafted Bender and he was a bust. There was no way, just for the pure fact of business and ticket sales, that we were going to pass on Ayton. The Kings are stupid.
It's crazy.
It's so, oh my God.
That's top year, all year. I read something where Vlade had beef with Luka's dad or something like that. And I mean, there's a reason Vlade doesn't have a job. There's a reason the Suns GM doesn't have a job anymore either. They both pass on Luka, and that's the thing that will get you fired as an NBA GM. Dude, the Suns GM at the time, Ryan McDonough, he didn't go overseas one time to watch Luka play. Not once. Not once.
God. And wasn't your coach like the coach of the Slovenian national team too?
Yeah, that's what was so confusing. Igor.
When we hired Igor Kokoskov, that's the coach of the Slovenian team. He won with Luka. So when we signed him, I was like, oh shit, the Suns are really taking Luka. I started watching all these Luka highlights and stuff, but then I started seeing some reports from the owner saying, in the shorter terms, the coach has no say in who we draft. So I was like, I don't know, is this just a big smokescreen? And then once we fired our coach, and it came out where he really obviously wanted Luka, he was saying how he was trying to tell the front office that he's a player that he's never seen before. We've never seen anything like this before, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say this in front of everybody, and this will be on the internet for the rest of my life, so I'm really confident saying it. If Luka stays healthy for his career, you're talking MJ, LeBron, and Luka Doncic. I'm going to just leave it out there. If he stays healthy, that's how good I think Luka is going to be. And he already is. Obviously, there needs to be a little bit of change in play style, a little bit. But did you guys see the first Olympic game he played?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Dude, that's where I was just like, I actually asked the question. I was like, is he just like the chosen one? Like
that's what it's like. He has a different type of like a different like energy. Like he's not a kid, bro. He's not his age.
He's 22, first team All NBA. Like insane.
You know, it's crazy. Like, well, for one, you just don't normally see stuff like that happen in Olympic basketball. But also, it's funny to me that it seems like he enjoys playing for his national team so much more than he enjoys playing for the Dallas Mavericks, which is understandable. But like, his trust for the national team is also so much higher than his trust in like Porzingis and the rest of the Dallas Mavericks.
You blame him?
Dude,
no,
honestly,
is like
such a disappointment, man. Like, I'm just like, God.
It's crazy. It's crazy because, well, first I'll praise Luka and then I'll get to Porzingis. The thing about Luka is I already kind of get this LeBron James-esque aura from him, where you kind of, in the beginning of his career, LeBron didn't really get, like, his first stint with the Cavs, he didn't really show that, hey, I'm the chosen one, you know, I'm going to be the face of the NBA, until 2010. You know, in 2010, he's like, love me or hate me, you know, I'm going to go to the Miami Heat. It took him a year to really embrace the villainous role, and then from that point on, after he won a championship.
He took back the villainous role, though.
Really? No,
he 100% did. He literally sat down with, I think, Rachel Nichols and basically apologized for everything because it didn't work.
I mean, yeah, what I'm trying to say is, like, eventually LeBron realized he was the face of the league and, like, he was pretty much the guy. He was bulletproof. The NBA was going to go as far as he would take them. I'm already getting that type of aura and that type of vibe from Luka Doncic based off of how he's handling his situation with the Mavericks. Like, yo, I'm about to go into restricted free agency and I'm about to sign a supermax contract. That's never happened before. You know, that's never happened before. And you just could, one, it's his demeanor, and two, it's the fact that he's going to be the first international superstar that will be the face of the NBA, which is pretty much going to open up the NBA just more globally. And then finally, I think my favorite part about him is his game isn't dependent upon athleticism at all. It's dependent upon, it's all finesse. So the NBA needs Luka. It's going to go as far as he's going to take them.
Yeah, guys like me hope. Yeah, I agree.
Guys like you.
Guys like you,
who's like, all right, you know, whatever.
Yeah, coming
he's
off of an
crush it for the Lakers in 4 years.
Nah, he's not going to go to LA.
Luka is the type of guy in my head where he's like, you know, a couple teams passed on me when I should have went number one, and Dallas took a chance, not just took a chance, but traded from me. I think he could be the type that stays with Dallas his whole career. That's what I think. He could be that type of guy. As long as they don't put guys like fucking Josh Richardson and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Porzingis around him, then he will stay.
That Seth Curry trade was so bad.
Yeah, really bad.
That was dumb. They've done a terrible job building a team around Luka.
Here's the weird thing about Porzingis, though. And this is the one part that I just don't understand. If you look at Porzingis' statistics across the board, everything except maybe his DBPM, his defense, is up since he went to the Dallas Mavericks. He's technically, analytically, and statistically a better player on the Dallas Mavericks than he ever was for the New York Knicks. Like, everything from PER to true shooting percentage to OBPM. His OBPM is almost double, you know, from his best season with the New York Knicks. Well, almost. 2.9. His best season with the Knicks was a 1.9. What I'm trying to say is his situation's very confusing because he's not a bad player. I just don't think he is good enough to just carry the Mavericks to a championship with just Luka. I think there needs to be another guy.
You know,
he needs to stop pouting, bro. He just pouts on the court. Whenever he doesn't get the ball enough, he just you could tell.
Well,
like, he's one of those guys that.
Yeah. To be fair, I understand the frustration playing basketball. You know, if I go to LA Fitness and you know, guys not getting me the ball, I'm wide open. Yeah, and I'm a good player. Like, you know, yeah, I'm gonna get a little frustrated too. You know, especially when I know I have that type of talent. So pouting's not the way to go about it, but you know, I understand.
He did say something just after they got knocked out of the playoffs where I forgot what the exact quote was. I don't have it in front of me, obviously, but he said something like, it was hard, you know, when Dallas had me playing a role that I'm not used to playing in. It was along those lines. But I don't know. I don't like Mike, what you were saying about the stats and the analytics. all being higher and him looking like a better player through the stats, I think at that point, that's when you just shut the computer down and you use the eye test and you're like, dude, this dude is, what the hell happened to this dude? Because on the Knicks, he was one of the more promising players in the whole league. But it is. I play a lot of basketball, and playing with Luka, that's why I mentioned he probably needs to change his play style a little bit, because I don't know if there are a lot of stars right now who would want to play with Luka. Dude, have you guys ever seen Luka? This is a quick question. Have you guys ever seen Luka ball up at the 3-point line, someone passes him the ball, and he just shoots it like a catch and shoot? I've never seen. No, right?
No, I can't think of a moment where I've seen him just, spot, catch, shoot. No, I can't recall that one.
Does not happen. So I think he needs to change his play style, not just to get people to want to play with him, but dude, what happens to Luka every fourth quarter? He's burnt out. He's doing so much the first quarters where the fourth quarter comes where they need him most, and at that point he's taken 25 shot attempts. He has like 12, 13 assists, and he's just burnt out. That's why I think with Luka, every first half he has like 18, 7, and 7. And dude, this guy's going to go for 40, 20, and 20. But then the second half, it kind of fades out because he's so tired from everything he's doing.
Yeah, that's a great call. We saw that happen versus the Clippers, where it looked like they were going to upset the Clippers for a moment. The guys on this podcast were so sure the Clippers were getting bounced first round. I'm not one to point fingers or whatever. But also, like you said, if you're a star,
that was after they were down 2-0.
Would you want to play with Luka? Hey, man. Hey, I just said what I said. I'm not blaming nobody if the shoe fits.
You know what? I'll say I also was sure, but I'll also say I was on America's side. It was me and America thought the Clippers were getting bounced. All right, yeah. So me and the United States of America, we were both.
I've never heard this before.
No, dude, that was probably that was one of the greatest rationalizations. I'm on America. All right, continue, Coop.
But yeah, who would want, like, if you're a star, do you want to play with Luka? Who's the perfect fit? Who's the ideal fit for Luka? For me, I see him with like rim runners, like, guys that just get rebounds, like Steven Adams, or athletes like, yeah, like,
I'm gonna say right now, with his play style, the only people that could play with him is like a Clint Capella, Deandre Ayton.
That would be perfect. And like spot up shooters, like,
dude, him on the Hawks would be perfect. Imagine they had just kept him.
Oh, guys, this is the crazy thing. So the Suns, in that 2018 draft, their two options were draft Ayton and sign Trevor Ariza with their free agency money, or sign Luka and draft Luka and sign Capella with their money. And they went the Ayton Ariza route because we had like $16-17 million. What did Capella get? Right around that, right? And Ariza, we gave 15 million. So we went that route as opposed to Luka, Book, Mikal Bridges, and Clint Capella, because we would have still had Bridges. That was later on in the draft.
That's a dynasty.
That's a dynasty.
That's a super. Bro, that's the logo right there. God. Like,
damn, bro,
nobody's beating that. Like,
God.
But I will say this, and I said this when the Suns were in the finals. If the Phoenix Suns won a ring last week with DeAndre Ayton, then I could care less if Luka wins 20 championships. The Suns made the right pick. That's what it's all about. If they were to win a ring with Ayton this year, nothing else would have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. But now we're back to square one. But Ayton's definitely, he'll never be on Luka's level, but he's definitely closing the gap a lot more than he was the first 2 years.
For sure. It's like the Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan situation. The Rockets took Hakeem first, but they still got 2 rings.
Yeah, my thing with Ayton is I just hope that, I think this part of his development was great. That being said, I hope that the Suns, if they retain Chris Paul, they allow Ayton to do a little more during the regular season to, maybe make life a little easier for Chris Paul and Booker in the playoffs. And we know Ayton has that type of talent. We know he can put up numbers if he has a little more volume. And I don't want to see him become one of those players that just kind of stops evolving. Yeah.
So here, I like what you just said, because like I haven't been on a sports podcast or anything, but between me, myself, and I, I was saying, so the Suns need to bring back Chris Paul, obviously, but he can't be your second scorer. He can't be your second scoring option. I would love to bring Chris Paul back, and then Ayton becomes that second guy. But I have another theory in my head that Cam Johnson becomes that second guy next year. I think we start Cam Johnson over Crowder, and Cam Johnson becomes a 16, 17 point per game scorer because he could. He just doesn't shoot the ball. He comes off the bench, plays 15 to 20 minutes, and doesn't get too many shots. But his jumper is it the sweetest jumper we've seen since Clay, bro? His jump shot's it's so pure. And I think, so like you said, it could be Ayton next season with the volume, but I'm thinking it could also be Cameron Johnson. You know what I want from Ayton is, dude, his rim protection has gotten so much better. And his first couple of years, he would catch the ball and not know what to do, try to lay it up, lose the ball. He would always come down with the ball before going up. Now I think he's learned, you're a rim runner, just slam the ball down, get the ball. So I think if he keeps going at it with, rim protection and then finishing off the pick and roll, anything else he adds is just extra. He started developing a three-point shot, and then when Chris Paul came, he kind of cut that out, and I'm kind of glad he did because...
Yeah, I was about to say, do you want Ayton shooting threes?
So he made a couple earlier this season, but here's my thing. Until you're 100% an elite finisher at the rim and you already have everything else polished, then you could start shooting threes. Let's let Ayton maybe get one more season of just reps at the rim and working out of the post, and then he could start shooting threes. That's just my mindset.
I definitely like his touch. I definitely like I think he has, a lot of offensive potential. I think, we saw in his second season, he averaged over 18 a game and shot, he shot way better this year. But also I'm taking a look at his shooting statistics right now, and, man shot 77% at the rim, which is incredible. That's incredible. But what's also jumping out to me is that he took 117 field goal attempts from 10 to 16 feet and made over 50% of them this year. So, yeah, his mid-range game is already, for a third-year big, pretty solid. And, again, I think he just has the type of touch that he could definitely develop into a second option for sure with Booker. And, let Chris Paul rest a little more in the regular season, save for the playoffs.
I personally have a developmental rule whenever I evaluate talent coming out of college, where if there is a player that needs to develop a jump shot, I'll determine the likelihood of them being able to determine that jump shot, be it from mid-range or the perimeter, based off of how good of a free throw shooter they were in college or currently. And currently, DeAndre Ayton seems to be a pretty good free throw shooter throughout his career. So the shooting potential, in my opinion, is there based off of those parameters, about 76 to 77%. And I think once he unlocks that level of his game, you're talking about maybe a 2010 guy, possibly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like Ayton, especially the fact that he started playing defense this year, because the offense, dude, you could get that from Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges could shoot the three, Cam Johnson could put the ball in the hoop. But now that Ayton has kind of taken on that Gobert role where he's a monster protecting the rim, honestly, that's probably the biggest reason why we made it to the finals, bro. Ayton was not a defender like this his first couple of years at all. So I think he's bought into that defense first mentality, and it's hard to get players buy into that, especially a player who's in he's trying to get paid, and he will get paid obviously, but looking to score.
Which takes us back to just the NBA draft. You just never know. For one, you guys got trashed for picking Cam Johnson. Everybody hated that pick. People shit on that pick so hard. And then in college, Ayton was a terrible defender. He was one of the worst in the draft.
That was the biggest thing coming out, is he can't play defense. And now, you know what I mean? So yeah, bro, and I love Cam Johnson, but here's where I think James Jones messed up. So we took Cam Johnson 10 to 15 spots early, right? And I love that pick now. But then this past draft, where Halliburton was there, I think James Jones kind of was like, you know what? It worked with Cameron Johnson. I'm going to take Jalen Smith 10 to 15 spots early too. And that's where I'm kind of dude, if we had Halliburton under the wing for 2 or 3 years behind Chris Paul, dude, like, I don't like to get into too much like, oh, if we had this, if we had that, but oh my gosh, bro. So there's that, but I love the Cam Johnson. Dude, to top it off, we drafted Culver. We had the 6th pick, and we traded him to Minnesota for Cam Johnson and Dario Saric. That's an amazing, dude, I love that. I love that so much. So that was really good. I love Cam Johnson. I'm really high on him.
I remember Kobe White's reaction. It's like a viral like meme thing. It's like, oh my God, no way.
No, I love Cam. Yeah, no, Cam. I think he should start over Crowder next year. This past year, Cam was only in his 2nd year, so obviously on a finals team, it's hard to start somebody like that. But next season, definitely, I would start him over Crowder.
I was just gonna say with Crowder, you know what he is. He's going to be the same thing, starting or coming off the bench. So yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Let's see what Cam Johnson can do in some extended minutes.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I feel like tomorrow night, like, we're going to wake up to a completely different NBA. Like, the rumors are currently going insane. Like, the Thunder are dangling Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, apparently, to try to get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not getting Cade, I wouldn't trade Gilgeous-Alexander. Dude, what are you doing? He's like 24. How old is he? 23, right? He's 23 years old. Like, does that not figure timeline? OKC, when are you trying to contend? 2040? Like, I don't get it.
23.
23. I think dude, yeah, I don't know. Unless, like you said, they're trying to get the number 1. If they get what? Something happened?
Yo, okay, I'm sorry. My mind just kind of went like boom. I just saw this report that Kyle Kuzma and the number 22 pick for Joe Ingles and the number 30 pick could be a possibility. I would be so pissed if the Lakers got Joe Ingles.
Yeah, dude, Ingles is better than Kuzma.
Yeah,
Ingles is a solid ass piece.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Kyle Kuzma.
So like,
people are so down on Kyle Kuzma. I didn't think they were gonna be this down.
It's crazy because like there's a lot of like BS sources, mind you, like a lot of like random dudes that happen to get check marks that, you know, pull this stuff like out of their butts. Like, but I think personally, the most likely thing that I think is going to happen is a trade surrounding Kyle Kuzma and Buddy Hield. So that would send Kyle Kuzma to the Kings and Buddy Hield to the Lakers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I cut you off a little, Mike. That actually came from The Athletic, so there might be a little bit of steam behind that. I'm not sure. Yeah, it seems like the Kings really want to get rid of Bagley and Buddy.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go.
The Kings also had interest in Kuzma last year. Remember with the Bogdanovic rumors? So dude, if the Lakers were to get Bogey for Kuzma, that would have been crazy last year. I don't know how that was even a rumor, but
oh my goodness, yeah.
That would have been crazy, but no, I could see the Kings going for Kuzma. What is Kuzma's contract? Like 13, 14 mil a year?
Yeah,
it's not a bad contract. Yeah. It's about 13 million a year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 13.
And you know, Kuzma has a right to want out of LA because, you know, at this point he's done what he needs to do in LA. Like, mission accomplished. You're like considered to be a basketball player that also happens to be an influencer at this point. So you built yourself up in LA, you won a championship. Now you just kind of have to go to a place that would allow you to say, hey, I deserve starter caliber money in the NBA. I'm not just a like 9th man or a 10th man or an 8th man off the bench. So I do think this makes a lot of sense for him to reunite with his like rookie and sophomore year head coach and Luke Walton. It says like the most, and this is from Sam Amick of The Athletic, so this is a source I actually really like. Of all the scenarios for a supporting player believed to be in play, one source close to the situation indicated the Buddy Hield deal, which would involve Kyle Kuzma, but would also require Montrezl Harrell to opt into the final year of his deal, which is worth $9.7 million, and that appears to be the most promising thus far. I also see that the Lakers want to move into the lottery. This is a crazy draft.
Why?
That I think,
like, I've seen that too. Are they trying to like clear up space? What are they doing?
LeBron LeBron doesn't like draft picks unless if they sign with Clutch Sports, apparently.
Unless they're Shabazz Napier.
Yeah, speaking of, if Montrez opts in, Clutch should just be banned from the league. Like, if Montrezl Harrell opts in, I might stop following basketball, man. I'm not going to lie to you. If he opts in to be a trade piece, like, just what are we doing?
It says he's 50-50 right now. Like, is that
doesn't make sense.
He can't get a better contract than that?
He complained all season about his role with the Lakers too. Like, it just him opting in makes no sense. And this is a bad free agency pool for big men. There's just not a lot of options.
Yeah, I'm sure he could get a better contract than that.
Yeah. I also don't have any clue what the hell the Sacramento Kings are doing. Like, you have Marvin Bagley, but
neither do they.
Kyle
yeah,
Kuzma.
They never have. It's honestly like the rest, like 29 teams in the NBA are being run by like actual humans, and then like the Kings are being run by like the 2K auto like sim. Like, just like moves are just happening out there. People are taking advantage of them. Like,
yeah, I'm just waiting on that Fox trade request.
Yeah. No, once they passed on Luka, that was just like the final, like, dude, what are you doing? He was a consensus number 2 all year, bro. Like, that was so stupid. Yeah, the Kings are, but I could see Buddy Hield for Kuzma swap, obviously give or take. I could see that happening though, for sure.
I think the most likely thing that's going to happen, and I think everything the Lakers do is going to center around this, is obviously DeMar DeRozan going to LA. Originally, I thought maybe he'd bring Kyle Lowry with, but whenever you're being offered like $30 million a year, you're not going to say, "Hey, DeMar, you're my BFF. I'm going to take like $10 million to come play with you." That just doesn't make any sense. So, but like DeMar did go on Shannon Sharp's podcast and pretty much straight up said, like, he acted like he was a member of the Lakers. He like was starting to talk about like chemistry with AD and LeBron and how he's supposed to make it work. And it was really interesting. I've never seen a player like be so straight up about wanting to go to another team.
Dude, I just saw him at a mall in LA like 2 weeks ago. He was there. So wow. He's yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's always in LA like a lot of other players, but DeMar to the Lakers is probably one of the worst kept secrets, probably since last year, honestly.
He's always been like very unhappy in San Antonio ever since he got traded to San Antonio. I think the biggest storyline that we're all gonna have to keep an eye on next year is, I think Bradley Beal isn't going to be a Washington Wizard by the end of tomorrow. And, by the end of today, if you're watching this podcast right now, and it will really reflect on me poorly if I'm wrong. I just don't see a scenario where if you're Bradley Beal, you could come out and say, "I'm demanding a trade." And as a result, the Washington Wizards would say, "Okay, we could get number 7. We could probably get number 14. We could get Andrew Wiggins. Maybe James Wiseman. I'm not really sure." I don't think the Golden.
I think the Warriors for Bradley Beal. I mean, you're getting a 30-point per game scorer with. The only problem is his contract. That's the only problem, though. That's the thing. Like with Bradley Beal, he expires next year. So if what happens if you trade for him and it doesn't work out?
Did you see that Bradley Beal may want to play with Jason Tatum?
Oh yeah, because they're both from.
I forgot they love each other.
Yeah,
their sons are like best friends. Dude, did you see Jason Tatum? Jason Tatum's son is about to be like a 7'1" like small forward. Like, dude, this kid is massive for a 3-year-old. His son's like freaking. I don't want to say my height. I don't want to downplay my own height. I'm 5'10", but
I'm 5'9".
Yeah, all right. Well, his son's like everyone's height here, basically, but Coop.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're like 6'8".
Hey, man.
How tall are you?
He's literally like 6'8".
Yeah, I'm like
really?
6'8". Yeah, 6'8".
Yeah, we're just sitting down, so you can't see.
Yeah, you can't tell from the view, but like I'm a bucket, bro.
Hey, if the Suns
Yo,
needed
I've
a
been
four,
balling lately, Coop. I'm waiting. Yo, that pick and roll duo, I'm telling you.
Yo, tell Book, man, contact me, bro. I'm ready whenever. I'm ready, bro. In the corner.
They already got Crowder, Cam, Mikhail, bro. If
You're right.
backup center,
backup center? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. You trying to put me on Giannis, bro? Nah, I'm good.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wait, so Brandon, so you play basketball, right? I was watching your men's league highlights the other day.
I love basketball, bro. I love playing.
So you play still all the time?
Yeah, I don't really play in a men's league maybe once a week, but I just play pickup. I don't play nothing serious.
Where do you play pickup at? You play with people Fitness. You know? LA Fitness. Okay, I got a question for you. Have you noticed an uptick in trash talk in recent hooping sessions, like this past year or past 2 years?
Coop was ready for this.
Nah, yeah.
For me, like in like the least cockiest way, but I live in San Diego, not LA, so there isn't too many like bigger influencers here. So everybody knows who I am when I go to the gym. People do trash talk a lot, but I don't know if that's more so just because they do always bring up like YouTube and stuff like that. So I think that's it just comes with it. You know what I mean? So I can't answer if that's just random trash talk, but it seems to happen almost every time I play. So I doubt it's random, but I don't care, bro. It comes with it, you know. No, I mean I'm showing up to open runs where there's people age 16 to 40, like all different types of ages, races, whatever. So no, you don't know anybody you can't take anything to heart, bro. Like I'm showing up to a public open gym with a bunch of different people. So I just, whatever. There's a lot of times where like my brother's like, oh, come to the Mamba Sports Academy, or, oh, let's go rent a gym and play private. But I like to keep like normalcy in my life just to keep me like level-headed. And that's also why I don't think I would ever move to LA. I don't want to lose touch with like reality. Like for example, like I'll still go out with all my friends and we'll go eat at like Chili's or Applebee's, or like for example, I still live in the same house, and like I don't know, I don't want to just start doing stuff like you know what I mean? You guys get what I'm trying to say?
Dude, trust me, I definitely feel you, because like, you know, like when I got over 1 million subscribers and everything, like, you know, everyone was like, move to LA, move to LA, move to LA. And like, if I did move to LA, I probably would have gotten like, you know, more opportunities career wise. But like, you know, I'm engaged now, you know, I've got like, you know, my family all here. Like, I'm very happy I stayed in New Jersey, and New York's right here. So hopefully, you know, I get opportunities there. But definitely I was like the same kind of way. I was like, I don't really want to go to LA because like, just I don't know. Like I've been there, like I've of course been there for like, you know, YouTube stuff, and like, you know, I've been to like 2K events, like NBA live events, stuff like that. And it's just like, you know, people are a little different in a way that I don't really love.
Yeah, bro. Like I get texts, like obviously I won't say the names, but like from certain influencers all the time, like, oh dude, come pull up. We got this, and that, and this person's here. And I'm like, bro, like that shit doesn't impress me. Like, you know what I mean? I'd rather play in the same men's league that I've been playing at since way before I started YouTube, and I'd rather go out to eat at the same spot that me and my boys have been eating at since we were little kids. And just, I don't know, it could I have been grown a little bit bigger and been a bigger influencer out in LA and doing like, you know, parties and all that stuff? Yeah, but it comes down to your own happiness, if we're being honest. And like, I'm just happy here. I'm chilling. I'm doing my own thing, and just, you know what I mean?
Especially on YouTube, like having that balance, you know, with YouTube, I don't know about you, but it's not like you have like that many coworkers. So you have to make sure like your mental is good at all time, that you know, you're staying grounded, that you're balanced.
Yeah, because you're your whole business, your whole career. Like, if you're not good, then your business, your career, like, you got to make sure you're good. So yeah, I mean, we're getting a little off topic, but yeah, that brings me to my point. I play a lot of basketball, and it's just kind of like, dude, I'm literally filming. I upload like 3-4 times a week. Like, I'm filming all the time. So basketball with my boys is just kind of like, when I'm playing basketball, I'm not thinking anything YouTube. I'm not checking my phone, checking my Instagram, YouTube. It's just kind of like the escape. You know what I mean?
So what do you do to keep from getting like burnt out from YouTube? Because it can be demanding. I don't think a lot of people understand how hard, like, I don't want to say staying relevant is, because that sounds nasty, but maintaining your view count and your livelihood is dependent on if people fuck with you or not, and and it can change on a video to video basis.
Yeah, dude, I think like not getting burnt out is like the toughest thing, because so I've been this is my 6th year doing YouTube, and my first 3 years I was daily uploading. I was just on the mindset of like quality over quantity and just try to get my name out there. That was like the first 3 years, and then like for the last 2 years I started doing 5 times a week, which is still a bunch. And then now for like the last year, I started doing every other day. Over the last month or two, it's been inconsistent because I've been traveling from Phoenix to Milwaukee to LA to Denver to go to all these games. But I do every other day. So now I'm at a point where like, dude, the whole burnt out is like, it's real. It's becoming real. I'm like, dude, yeah, that's the toughest part. I guess it's just, I don't know, bro. I wish I had an answer as to how to like stay away from getting burnt out, but I'm actually in a situation right now where I feel myself getting burnt out. So maybe it's better for me to ask you guys, how do I not get burnt out? Because I do a lot of it myself. I film my own videos. I don't have a cameraman, and I edit my own because I like to keep it raw. I feel like it makes the fans feel more involved in my life as opposed to a bunch of crazy edits. That makes it feel more like a TV show, cartoon, movie. But if I'm just holding the camera myself, first person, and I'm just leaving it more so raw, I feel like the fans are really like, they feel more like your friend as opposed to like, I'm a fanboy to this celebrity. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely burning out just because I don't have a creative team that shoots me video ideas. I think of all that on my own too. So I'm asking you guys, how do I not get burnt out? Because I know Mike and I'm not sure how long you guys have been doing YouTube. If you guys could tell me as well, Coop and Mike. But I know Mike Krasemba, you've been doing it for a while. What about you guys, Coop, Mike?
Flight Mike.
So I actually, I've been doing YouTube. What year are we? For about 12 years. And it started. It like, yeah, before it was monetizable, I was like in high school.
Wait, I'm sorry, but
yeah,
you just literally said what
I'm burnt
year are we in and looked at the.
I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out. What?
Oh, okay. 12 years.
We were in a pandemic.
What the
we
hell?
were in a pandemic. I mean, 2020 went whoosh. So like, I was doing like these little mixes for like wrestling videos when I was like a sophomore in high school. And then eventually I kind of was like, it was when I wasn't watching as much basketball, I kind of like fell out of love with basketball for like a year, just trying different things. Then in my junior year, I kind of like loved basketball again. I think it's because we acquired Pau Gasol by then. So like I was watching the games a little bit more, and I went and bought NBA 2K10, and that's how I met Coop. We met on a forum, and my man over here taught me everything, forum? How to capture a game.
We met on the 2K forums.
NBA 2K.
Yeah,
really?
So crazy. Yeah.
Dude, I was probably posting on there back then.
So my man like recruits me to his crew, says we're gonna like, post our gameplay on onto YouTube. I thought that was so cool. Like, this is when I first watched Chris Smoove. He was the only one doing it. So I'm like, this guy is so cool. And I was doing 2K videos for like 5 years, 6 years, and then I took a break for like a year or two to pursue dental school. And then I dropped out of dental school and did just basketball videos and football videos and whatnot. And it's like heated up from like 2019 is when things started picking up. And I was like so thankful because like you could imagine if you're grinding towards something for like a decade, and it's something you really, really want, and your friends are telling you like you're an idiot, you're delusional. How are you dropping out of dental school to pursue this pipe dream? And I'm like, nah, man. Like, I know if I just like change one thing, everything will click. And it popped off. And like when you have this like when you've been chasing something for like a decade and then you finally get it, there's this like drive to make sure you don't lose it, make sure the content's like pristine, make sure you do everything, make sure you make every good video that comes to your head. Eventually, like I expanded to football, so now I'm pumping out like 3 videos a day now. Without getting too off topic, I know you didn't ask for my entire YouTube story. I try to get like a form of exercise in every day, at least 3 days where I'm doing cardio, 4 days where I'm doing lifting, and 2 days where I'm doing yoga. I try to hit a sauna or steam room like 4 to 5 times a week. And then I drink a lot of caffeine. I don't know if you guys were watching me throughout this entire podcast. So I try to like take 1 week tolerance breaks from time to time and really make sure I get like good sleep for those weeks. And during those weeks, I start like getting anxious because like I haven't made a video in a minute. So I'm like, I want to make videos again. And then after a week, like the burnout's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think exercise is the number one thing for any real success, for at least for myself, for sure, mentally. Like if I'm exercising, if I'm waking up, going to the gym, doing my thing, like, I'm always going to be in a good headspace. But, I like 2 years ago, I was just like way like overwhelmed with YouTube and ended up taking like a 2.5 month break where I was just like, all right, like I've been doing this, like uploading, like, cause like every single video I, writing 3-page scripts and, doing this and pumping out content where it's like, it always just like, I mean, like I love to do it, but like at the same time, like sometimes it definitely feels like, you're writing like a school paper that never ends, like I keep writing the same, like a different paper. And so like I ended up literally going to like, I went to Santa Monica for like 7 to 10 days and was hanging out with friends there. And then I went to Hawaii for a week and then I came back and continue making content ever since.
So let me ask you this, because I told myself that I was going to take a break. This was maybe like a couple months ago. I just was hella burnt out and just like a couple of extra things were going on in my life as well that I was like, dude, I can't focus on like making videos because I'm just like faking this, like, yo, what's up, guys? Like, feel happy. So I'm like, let me just take a little break and then come back. And then, dude, maybe like 3 days into the break, because I've never not posted for 3 days straight in 6 years. So 3 days in, dude, I started just getting this like anxiety. I'm like, dude, what if like I take like a 2 or 3 week break and then no one just watches my videos after that, and I come back and I'm just irrelevant, and I started just getting like whatever. So I ended up taking like a 5-day break and I came back and I've been posting ever since. So how did you go from posting consistently to comfortably taking a 2.5 month break without like just overthinking everything? Like, oh, what if I come back and no one rocks with me no more? What if I just took the break and it just ruined like I don't know, like that. So I took my break, but it wasn't enjoyable. Like I was just stressing the whole time.
I kind of just accepted that, like, I was going to come back and like the views were going to be down, but like that, like I like believed in myself enough where they were going to come back. And like, like it was, fine. When I came back, like there was like, at first it was like, like somewhat down, but then, came back and, NBA has been up and down. COVID didn't help at all with the NBA, but, right before COVID hit, like my channel had like, started like crushing it. So, I think it was just like this whole thing where I was like, I just kind of just need this, where like, if I don't take this break, like I'm just going to go insane. And like, I just thought like long term, like for my own like mental health and like for just, all of that going forward, like I thought like it was prioritizing that was the right move at the time. And like, luckily as a YouTuber, you're able to do that. You're not in a normal job where they just be like, you can't just take like a month and a half, 2 months off or whatever, however long I took. So, I did that. And then like, yeah, like there's definitely, worries and stuff. I had to like cancel or postpone a ton of ad deals, which was like, very stressful. But, it just like, I just kind of just was like, I need this. And then just, I embraced it You know, I didn't like half like go, okay, like, you know, or maybe I'll come back. Like I was like, you know, like I planned a day when I was going to come back, and like I was moving into a new house, and I was like, I'm going to come back this day. Like this is when I'm going to start making content again. And so, you know, like I just pushed it off. Like I would think of ideas, you know, I still would always, you know, think of ideas of what I wanted to make and everything. But like I just really didn't do any like actual writing or any, you know, research or anything. And I was just like, I'm just going to enjoy this. And then I was like, because I know I'm not going to have another one for a good amount of time, you know. But yeah, so that's what I did.
Coop, what about you? How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, man. So for me, like my form of like therapy for like this YouTube stuff is just like getting out, being active, finding things to like just really look forward to, spending time with family, friends, you know, just a large part of also like not taking things for granted. So I recently ruptured my Achilles playing at LA Fitness like a month ago. So things have kind of been tough for me since I don't have like that outlet anymore. Like basketball was my outlet. Like that's what I looked forward to every week. You know, I'd go hoop every Wednesday or Thursday with my friends, and I don't have that anymore. So it's kind of been like a tough little adjustment process for me. So this conversation that we're having right now is actually like super, super clutch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel it with the back. Yeah, no, because when I go, like, even when I hang out with family or if I have some friends over at the house, I still have access to my phone and laptop, so still in the back of my head is like YouTube.
Yeah,
when I'm at the gym,
for sure. Looking at numbers all the time.
Yeah, man.
And like, dude, it sucks because like if you post a video and it just doesn't do as well as you wanted it to,
oh man,
it's not doing well. Like it just every single time, 10 out of 10, like will
that's a day down the toilet.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Like it just will make you just feel bad every time. And 1 out of 10 will make you feel great. And it's like it shouldn't affect you at all, honestly, but it just does. Like
my girlfriend.
No, go ahead, Coop.
I was just gonna say my girlfriend saw the little YouTube Studio app on the phone, and she's like, "Does that 10 out of 10 mean it's good?" And I was like, "No, that's bad." That's kind of mean.
Angela, she didn't know what that meant either. She thought it was like compared against other videos or something. And I was like, no, this means that this is the worst video I've posted out of the last 10.
Now go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say it's crazy how that app really knows how to mess with your psychology because, like, you know, thankfully, like, and I just realized this recently, like a 10 out of 10 for me, like now is like what a 1 out of 10 would have been for me like a year and a half ago. But like you see those down arrows and you see like YouTube saying fewer people are watching this as usual. And you're like,
the note that they leave, fewer subscribers are watching your video. I'm like, cool. I noticed.
And they go into detail too.
Yeah, I didn't notice. Thanks, by the way. I actually think that a lot of people sleep on how big YouTube is becoming. I think that, there's just going to be a user increase year after year after year, especially as more people become more used to technology and, you know, more people have kids. I don't know if YouTube is like destroying Netflix and Hulu and all that. I don't have the numbers, but for me, like when I'm going to sleep, YouTube is my source of entertainment. You know, like I'm on YouTube
all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, YouTube's it's like I guess it's like an addiction, honestly, literally. Like everything that we just described is not great. Like ruining your like mental state.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. We post a video and we get like a 10 of 10. For everybody out there watching, a 10 of 10 means it's pretty much your worst performing video out of the last 10 you've uploaded. And it ruins our day. It puts us in a bad mood. But then it shouldn't do that because you look at the bigger picture and you're like, dude, this is one video out of thousands that we've uploaded. We're lucky enough to even be in a position that, you know, our mood gets killed just because of one little video. We shouldn't, but it's like a habit. Like you see your video not perform well and you know, maybe the fans don't, but you know in the back of your head how hard you worked on that video. So it just kills your mood. But yeah, I definitely plan on uploading a little bit less. But back to you, Coop, that's what kills me the most is sometimes I'll post a video where in the back of my head, I'm like, dude, this is kind of a whack video. Like I didn't really work hard on it. And it's not that entertaining and it'll blow up because like the title and thumbnails. and then I'll post a video that I spent freaking days and days on, and all the feedback is good. We love this video. This is your best video ever. Down. And I'm like, that's where numbers, can't let numbers like get in our head too much. But then again, it's our career. It's literally how we make a living is all because of numbers. So it's hard not to let it get in your head, but that's just what it is. You know what I mean? That's the career path that we're in. So
I also think like backpacking off of a little bit of what you said and what Coop said, I think gratitude's really important here. I know Coop and I, especially in our stories, like we were both in school for something we really didn't want to do. We were about to turn our backs on this YouTube dream. So whenever I see like a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, my brother currently is in medical school. And like he comes to me and he's like, you're so lucky. And I'm like, dude, like what if I fall off? You know, I don't know where I'm going to be in a year from now, 2 years from now. I could be irrelevant in 3 years. You know, like in my culture, like most people don't know what a YouTuber is. So like a lot of people like kind of look at me as the equivalent of a low income artist, you know? So like what it boils down to is when I do get those 10 out of 10s, I sit back and I think like, okay, you know, I have like tactics to make myself feel better. Not saying that I'm 100% financially driven, but like I look at the video statistics, I look at like the ad revenue it pulled, and then I compare that to like the hourly wage I would have made as a dentist, you know, and then I compare how much happier I am doing what I do now to what I would have been doing if I was not here. And that tends to help me out a lot, because if you compare your 10 out of 10s and your like worst content, even if you poured your heart and soul into them, thankfully, at least for now, it appears as though like you still would be doing better making those 10 out of 10s as opposed to like working a job that you would hate. And I think like it's very, very, very rare to just find something that you love, to get paid for making basketball analysis or football analysis, or in your case, making basketball videos or vlogs. So at the end of the day, I think gratitude is super important.
Yes, I agree.
All right, appreciate you guys for coming out. Huge shout out to Brandon for being our first official guest on the Laced Up podcast. Guys, be sure to check us out on Apple and Spotify. The links will be in the description below. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Get Like Coop. Laced Up. We're out.
Peace.
If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. Make sure to click on one of them. Again, I know you're going to love it. And other than that, have a great day and peace.